Well, hey nerds. Man, I've done a lot of videos today. I apologize, but things have been so busy, I've been just so energetic. Might be because of other things, but hey, I just wanted to see what was going on and see how you're all doing. So, someone asked me to keep talking about Weapon Refinery and what is some of the oddest things or one of the weirder things that you can find in the Weapon Refinery. Well, I guess we could talk about that. I'm going to talk to you guys about a bow everyone forgot and how it may have become more relevant now more than ever. Okay, so are you guys ready for one of the more weirder bows out there? So, I actually had to get Setsun up to 5 stars to do this, just so I could unlock Assassin's Bow. Plus, of all things. Yes, you're welcome. I wasted SP on that. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't really care. But, you know, this was a terrible bow. It's just, hey, if the target has a dagger, it can't make a follow-up attack, and this unit will. Whoop-de-doo. So, naturally, this was actually one of the bows that is on the list to be upgraded. In fact, this one evolves. Yep, this evolves into something completely different from its base weapon. And oftentimes people kind of forget that Assassin's Bow Plus actually exists. It's an actual bow. Yeah, it existed. No one uses it for obvious reasons. Not to say that Setsun is bad. Setsun is really good if you get her with good IVs. I'm just saying that her bow, her base bow, is pretty god-awful when it comes down to what you want to create for a unit. So then someone might ask, well, what's the point? What good would it be when it comes to Refinery? Well, let's just say that here is what we're gonna go over it. I'm just gonna show it, okay? So here is what it evolves into. The option that it evolves into is a Guard Bow Plus. And a Guard Bow Plus, according to this, is essentially a bow with distant defense on it. Which is insane and weird and kind of something I want to do when I get the chance. I really want to test this bow out. I was going to do an armory, thing on it about what complexities this could make. This bow is... It's funny how an assassin's bow turns into this. And just to give you an example, okay? So let's say you were to take a Guard Bow Plus, and you were to assign this not necessarily to Setsuna here, and let's talk about some of the odder choices, that, at least when it comes to 5-star pools. Hell, even Gordon can make really good use out of this, and is already pretty beefy defense. But not only that, but let's say you have Guard Bow Plus and distant defense on some of these units, okay? I'm just going to pull up their stats real quick, since I have them, of course. Let's just, whenever that decides to load, of course, but let's just take an example. In the party that we actually have here, I've already assembled it, so we can have them all ready to go. Here is just an NS. I don't have my max level NS here, but let's say you have him at base neutral value with his resistance at 31 and his defense at 14. That means with both with distant defense and, the distant defense that comes from Guard Bow, if you have, the seal that you have maxed out there, you could potentially even put it in his A slot if you really wanted to. That equals 12 defense and resistance when attacked by any of those units that were listed there, meaning that his defense instantly goes from 14 to 26, and his resistance goes from 31 to 43. Yeah, that's harrowing and not terrifying in the least. Then of course we have Leon here, who technically is kind of similar to that, except I would say the difference is, he's more defense-based, while Ennis is of course more resistance-based. But just to give you an example, 30 defense base value at neutral IVs. Let's see what I just want to see. This one's actually a neutral defense-based and a neutral resistance-based. So this would be 15 resistance at 5 stars at max rank as well. So just do the math. 42 defense and of course, 27 resistance when attacked, which makes these units fairly confident, at least, at being possible bait. Granted, obviously you're not going to want to let them anywhere near a Raven Tome, but that's an obvious one out there, because yeah, Raven Tomes will still be the one thing that will probably trick them into not being able to really tank things correctly. And of course, there's all sorts of other units. Just to give you an example, here's my Jacob. You can see that, of course, already 38 defense, 34 resistance. And that's without, a distant defense seal. And, of course, I gave him a slang bow back in the day, but honestly, I'm really contemplating really going guard bow just to see how well that works. But as you can see, yeah, there's a lot more to that. With Jacob there, that means that he's going to get in excess, at least when it comes to using distant defense. He could get up to 50 defense, 50, and then of course add in resistance. That is 46. That's outrageous. That little bow that, remember when that, we made fun of Setsuna's bow and things like that? Not only that, but just so you know as well, let's just go back to Weapon Refinery real quick. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit out of it. But when it comes to Weapon Refinery, there's a lot more out there. Not only can you evolve Guard Bow to, Assassin's Bow to Guard Bow Plus, you can also technically... well, I guess we can just, you can also evolve it further, enhance it further, refine it further, give it things like, I think, it can get I think up to 2 more might if you decide to go with it, and then like 2 more speed, and then 3 defense and 3 resistance. I don't actually remember completely what it was, but yeah, that is some of the options out there, guys. It's funny how such a strange weapon, yes, it was actually, you get 1 more might, and then the rest are 2 defense, 2 speed, 3 defense, 3 resistance, and of course the plus 2 HP. So yes, doesn't enhance anything else there, really, because this is already pretty beefy. Considering the fact that it evolves from that, I'd say that's a pretty big bonus. Pretty hefty bonus, actually. And to add more might to it, making it 13, that's a pretty beefy weapon. And then, of course, the fact that it also has built-in distant defense is outrageous in its own way, and something I really want to test out. So, when you may be wondering, well, Sages, why don't you just go and get some more refining stones? I'll probably work on that. I'm lacking in a few. I need to go do my Tempest Trial for today, and then I will definitely be doing that. And then I need to get Setsuna a bunch of SP as well. But, and then of course, what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to be moving that over to Jacob, and I'm going to be having some fun with it, just testing it out to give you an example of how the Weapon Refinery system has changed a lot of these weapons. But, you may be wondering, well, what did you use your first, weapon on? I actually used it on one of my really odd choices because I thought it was going to be a great idea, and it kind of was okay. But as you can see here, here's my Priscilla, and of course also has Pain, and the enemy cannot counterattack. Let's go, guys. Fight. I was considering also doing another one, but Pain seemed like a good idea. Just bring in the pain, guys. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Yeah, Guard Bow is such an odd choice. There's also, of course, other ones, but that was the most, at least the oddest upgrade out of all of them. Just the idea of taking something as weird as, and honestly as archaic and probably outdated when it came to concept as the Assassin's Bow and turning it into a Guard Bow is probably one of the more, I wouldn't say interesting, but definitely something that would be worth looking into. Now, chances are when it comes to a lot of these weapons, technically, Rajat already comes with King Gronwolf, so chances are we'll eventually see a character that comes with it already, but right now the only option to get it is through Weapon Refinery, and I'm just So fascinated in it. So fascinated in it. So that's definitely my next task after leveling up Soleil. I'm working. Time to go back to leveling up units. See you nerds later. Bye.